Was a good mix of both our parents. From my dad, she got her drive, her determination, and her wicked sense of humor. From my mother, she got her sensitivity to other people and her social graces. She always made friends easily, and the friends she made lasted throughout the years and spending at home. My mother and Christy had a very special bond and a relationship. Christy was my mother's greatest joy, and my mother was Christy's greatest fan and supporter. My dad didn't quite know what to make of Christy and her talent, but he loved her dearly and was so proud of her. She was so different than each of us, my other family members. He would often say, "Christy here's a different girl," and she did. She was trouble from day one. From Pat and I, she was a little imp. And to Charles, she was the pest of all pests. When Chuck went to kindergarten, the teacher said, "Oh, we have twins." And my mother says, "Oh no, this one goes home for 2 more years." By the time Christy was in 1st grade, I had already taught her a lot of her numbers and a lot of her alphabets. She was bored in class, and because she was so bored, she was very disruptive, as only Christy could be. The nun wanted to jump her a grade, but my dad wouldn't hear her. But the nun said the only way they were going to keep her in the 1st grade is we were to keep her busy with extracurricular activities. And so she was enrolled in music and dancing lessons, and her career was born. We all recognized Christy's many gifts and stood in awe of her musical achievements and accomplishments. There was nothing Christy couldn't do when she set her mind to it. From selling real estate to playing the role of Brunhilde in The Ring, to refinishing a fireplace that she had found someplace in a garage or a junk shop, who knows. Anyway, she even went on, never mind that she had never refinished anything in her life. But that was of no consequence to Christy. She went ahead and did it anyway. And she even won a contest for a very creative essay that she had penned to describe her accomplishments. And the manufacturer awarded her $1,000 for this essay. So Christy immediately went out and picked out some of the most beautiful tile that she loved and was very expensive, and used the $1,000 to finish off the fireplace. She had such a flair for drama and a boundless imagination. On Christmas Eve, my dad used to take us out to look for Santa Claus. And so we all piled into the car one year and loaded up to go look for Santa Claus at the ferryland. It was all lit up for the holidays, a local park. We drove around anxiously peering out the windows, looking for that little sleigh and those 8 tiny reindeer. And suddenly, from the very far back of the Chevy station wagon, we all heard a little voice in total ecstasy. "I see him, I see him." Pat and I looked at each other and giggled. Charles, always the practical one, said, "Where? I don't see him." That was the signal to go home, and lo and behold, Santa Claus had come while we were gone. And I always wondered, perhaps Christy really did see him. After all, in our family, Christy had many nicknames, from the crust, to Christabel Lewis, to the diva. But first and foremost, she was known for being the BI, or the bad influence. If there was mischief afoot, you could be sure that Christy was either at the center of it or the instigator of it. She was also especially fond of C's chocolates. Whenever we had weighty matters and issues to discuss in our family, she would say, "I'll bring the C's. Things always go better with the C's." And she was right. And so today we have a box of C's chocolates, which you're all invited to participate in Christy's honor. So help yourselves. Another special talent Christy had were her cooking skills. Not just any cooking skills. She was the mistress of the grand gesture. Another Christmas I remember, she was home from college, and my mother was managing a whole house full of all of us kids, various and sundry husbands and fiancés, and my dad. And so she had gone to the grocery store and packed the refrigerator with everything we would possibly need for many a dinner, a lunch, and a breakfast. Long after we had all gone to bed, Christy decided it would be nice to make creme brulee for everyone. So she looked at the recipe. She had purloined it from a favorite restaurant in Tacoma. She decided she wanted to have enough creme brulee for everyone, and so she modified the recipe to serve many. The next morning, while Christy slept like a little angel, we were all ready for breakfast. Imagine my mother's horror and shock when she opened the refrigerator door and there was not an egg or a carton of milk inside, but there was every glass and every bowl filled with creme brulee. She wasn't amused. But we all had creme brulee for breakfast, and a fine creme brulee it was. Irvin would have been very, very proud of her. After that fiasco, the kitchen was off limits to Christy. She was relegated to arranging the many packages under the Christmas tree, to setting the holiday table, and to make sure that all creatures, cats, lizards, G.I. Joes, Smurfs, and Flubberman were all well represented in the manger scene. These were areas where Christy's creativity and imagination could truly shine. We were also lucky to have had Christy in our lives. She meant so much to each of us in our own ways. But she was so lucky to have had each of you, and especially her love of her life, Daniel. May her love and laughter and song always echo through our lives, and may her memory always be a blessing in ours. Dear Christy, we will always miss you. Please rest in peace. Thank you.
suitcase. So, as I'm sure you know, Christy has an eye for finding the unusual. So in the basement of a friend's house in New York, we spied what later became known as the deer lab. Now, Christy were with us today, and I did this. She would walk up to me and do the same with her hands, and that would represent the base of the deer lamp, which was made from the 4 legs of a deer. The lampshade was the hide of the deer with deer scenes painted on it. And for years, Christy and I, we would get together and we would do this, and the other knew immediately what it was. I think that is Christy in a nutshell.
cats. So this is a time when people have anything they would like to add to this, so we'll come up
So my name is Gloria Dixon, and in 1977, I was a transfer student at the University of Puget Sound, and a music major, and so it's a small campus, and you tended to see the same people in the same classes every single day. And I remember seeing Miss Springer. We were all our last names, and whatever we were, Mr. or Miss at the time. So Miss Springer was in my 8 a.m. keyboard class, singing class, and Dr. Hanson's history class. And the only class I didn't have her in was band, because she was in choir. So she wasn't invited. But, and even at 8 a.m., she was remarkably put together. Her hair was perfect. She wore matching outfits, and she had boots with every outfit, seemingly, and she wore makeup. I, on the other hand, was living in experimental housing and was fortunate if I could find matching socks and my burgundy socks. And I would look at her across the room and I thought, I'm never going to know her. She looks like a sorority girl, which she was, and we are never going to speak. And we ended up speaking. We just were in the same rooms all the time. And she was hysterical. She did things to the faculty that no one else could get away with. And including opening the window and doing her famous monkey call across the campus. Much to the delight of my food teacher, our theory teacher. So we ended up being sort of a weird pair, but we ended up being extremely good friends for the next 3 years, graduated the same year, and we also took our audition trip to New York together and had a week in the East Coast together a couple of times, and also a summer at Aspen together where we happened to coincide for 9 weeks, which was great. And she was a blast. Not much for hiking, not much for rustic a camping trip or something like that, or getting up really early. That just wasn't her thing. But anything else she was pretty much game for, especially if it had to do with food. So since I moved back to California and she was here, Catherine and I have had her down to dinner quite often. And we just really enjoyed having she and Daniel, and many dinner parties, lots and lots of food. I would say by nicknames, she also had several nicknames in our household, which was either La Tempesta, the crystalline entity, and the diva, of course. And of course, she was godmother to our cats, all of them. And I couldn't ask for a better friend. When Catherine hadn't met her yet, and I had known Christy for years, and I said, you're not going to like her right off the bat. You're going to think, nope. But she has a heart of gold. She will do anything for her friends. And even people who are kind of acquaintances, she'll do anything for. So, she's just great, and you will learn to love her. And she said, "You're right. She is. This is not someone I would really say, yeah, my best friend," but she was just wonderful. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of her, and I see her and Dr. Everett sitting in the back of this room right now, so love you, Ms. Primer. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Steve Schultz. I am an old student of Christie's and friend, and I wanted to just share a few things and thoughts. And all my life, I wanted to be a singer, you know. I knew I was inside, but I didn't know how to access it. And then I found myself, I had moved down to San Francisco at the age of 27, and I worked at Thielen and Merritt, which is this law firm where, and Christine also worked, and we were both, what's the word? Word processors. Thank goodness I learned how to type in high school. And I found out she was a singer. And just over time, she became a singing teacher. I don't think I ever told her this, but what I would want to say to her, first of all, is of course I miss you. But I remember she taught me my first song, Go Out, that Talos was writing to Zion. And she asked Daniel to come into the room, and I sang it for him and then her. She told me, she said, "You are a singer." And Daniel, you agreed. And ever since that time, I knew that I was a singer. I arrived at that place I wanted to be. I had a lot of work to do, but I made it to that Pantheon. It was just a little waterway to the gods of song, but I was there, and it felt right. And I'm so grateful because you made my dream come true. And I think she saw me as this kind of lovable but annoying puppy. That's how I am. And that's how I was with her. So she was kind of loving from a distance. She was wonderful. She's everything you have heard today, and I'm sure I'll think of other stories and things to say, but mostly I wanted to take this moment and just say hello to her family, and to just say I love you, Christy, and Daniel, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
I started singing late in life. I was doing some choral singing and I heard the soloist and I went, wow, I want to learn how to do that. And so at age 50, I started studying. And after a few attempts with different teachers and workshops and things, I was introduced to Christy. And the first thing she said was, well, what do you want to do? How do you want to accomplish? And I said, well, I don't know what I can do. I just want to do as much as I can with the instrument I have. I don't know what's possible. And she said, well, you're using about a quarter of your voice now. Because she had listened to me. And she said, if you really want to learn how to be a soloist, you must stop singing in choruses and choirs. And you must stop blending in. And you must stop holding back and being a little tiny voice in a box, because that's not who you really are. And I had no idea. And I just said, well, however it ends up, I'm going there. And I was determined. I started at age 50, and I'm now 73. And I studied with her loss and performance, and I was gonna learn this stuff. And she just encouraged me every step of the way, and didn't say, well, you're too old, or it's too late for you. She just said, yeah, go for it, So I'm eternally grateful because I feel like she helped me find my voice, and I am enjoying it every day, and I'm grateful to her every day. And I miss her so much. I'm sure all of you do too. Thank you.
Well, I've been singing for a while when I started with Christine, and I arrived with a mess of voice. Stephen Hoffman in the first row there heard me one day and said, what you're doing isn't working. You really need to meet Christine. And I thought, she's so tall. She's so intimidating. She's got this big, huge, turned-up voice. I can't possibly. But Steve said, no, she's wonderful. She's warm, and she's witty, and she's funny, and she will help you find your voice. And Steve, I am so grateful to you, because you did. Christine, years and years of work, and patience, and patience, and patience. She gave me my voice. And for that, I am forever grateful. She told me I don't deserve the instrument I have, and she's probably right. But I'm so glad that she enabled me to enjoy it, to love it, and to share it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Melcina, and I'm Daniel's niece. And I want to tell you something that Christy taught me. She taught me that IMP stands for improvise. She taught me about afternoon tea. She taught me the proper way to eat a muffin at Marvin's. Forgive me, Mervyn. And she taught me how to sneak into the San Francisco Opera. I was visiting Christy and Daniel was in Don Carlos. And I had never seen him, and I mentioned that to Christy, and she said, well, why don't we go tonight? Great, we can get tickets that easily? She said, don't worry about it. So, we get there, and she said, when the doors open, run. And I'm thinking, what are we doing? So, doors open, she taps my shoulder, and she takes off. We're running into the back, near the phone, toward the phone, and the security guard is chasing us. And she hands me the phone, and she says, improvise. I start talking, and she's giving me cues. The guard is standing there listening to all of this. Finally, he turns around, walks away. She grabs my arm and says, let's go. We snuck in. I got to see Don Carlos, and Daniel, you were wonderful.
So my name is Ari Perry, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about how Christy and I met. So in 2010, my wife Andrea and I moved to San Francisco from St. Louis. I came for a job with UCSF, And so we found this realtor, Christy. And so it turned out to be an adventure, but it was a great one. And there's multiple parts of the story, but we were looking at several neighborhoods, weren't quite finding the right one. We stayed at a place that she recommended called Noe Place Like Home in Noe Valley. By the end of the week, we called it Noe Place Park. And so we found a house, we put a bid, someone else outbid us, we weren't used to that in St. Louis, and so we got discouraged, but she said, well, let me show you one more house. I wasn't going to show it to you, I'm not sure it has some issues, and okay, let's go take a look at this house, and we take a look at this house, and it's just got the most gorgeous view out the back of this house. And I'm standing there, Andrea, have you seen this view? And Andrea looks at me and says, there's a bathroom with pink walls and a red bathtub. I'm like, yeah, but have you seen this view? And Christy is like, oh God, I think we found the house. But at one point she says, so tell me, Ari, what do you like to do for fun? I said, well, I like to sing. And I sometimes combine my singing with my work, and I just put together a CD of neuropathology songs that I used to teach medical students about neurologic diseases. And she just was like, oh, you're my kind of person. I gave her a CD, and the next day she was singing, craniopharyngioma. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, what do you like to do? She said, well, I like to sing too. In fact, if you want, come see us this summer, and I'm singing in a mini ring cycle. I said, oh, great. I came and went to see her play Brunhilde, and I was just blown away. And I was like, oh my God, this woman I thought she was a realtor. She's an opera singer. This is amazing. And so that's how I decided to take lessons from Christy, and I never looked back, and it was wonderful, and I miss her every day as well. So thank you, Christy. I'll never forget you and everything that you did for me and for all of us. Thank you.
Do that before you speak. I'm kidding.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Houston, and I flatter myself to think that Christy and I had a lot in common. We were tall sopranos and loved animals, but it really wasn't that. I just always felt like Christy really got my heart. Just got me. It's really lovely to see people that I haven't seen in a long time. And we used to do our poetry readings, and it's nice to see Christy's family because she loved you so much. But I really got up just for one reason, because I wanted you all to see my socks. Sure, and that is a photograph of my dog Hayward. And because Christy was Christy, I have two other pair at home with my other dogs on them as well. So it's really nice to be here, but it's sad to be here also. But to be together and to remember someone that we couldn't forget.
We could have been too poor.
Hi, So I'm John Toronto. I met Christy through my longtime partner, Grant Thompson. We've been singing programs forever. Always are trying to get Christy to do something for us, and of course she never would. But we were at Buca de Beppo one evening celebrating someone's birthday. I can't remember whose.
And of course, Bukit Beth is this big Italian-style place, and you hear a happy birthday song go off over there, and then there's another one down the hall, and then another one over here. And of course, our party is me, Grant, who's a long-time opera singer, Sigmund was there, Dan was there, so everybody was a singer. And we're like, okay, when it's our turn, we're gonna really So Sigmund stands up, he's conducting, and it starts, and Christy did not sing one note of Happy Birthday. She just went like 2 octaves above and was just like trilling above us the entire time. And of course, it ends, and the whole restaurant bursts into applause. Thank you very much.
So in case you don't know it, Christy is annoyingly intelligent, you know. We used to if we didn't meet at all, we met at midnight, and we always watched old movies. And she knew every line in the movie that the people said. I mean every line. She could, read a page of a printed page and know it in several seconds. And when we were both studying the same opera roll, it was really horrible because she would be done in 2 days and would know the whole thing from memory, and I was still going to plod along for 3 weeks or so I can't. There are a million things that she did better than me, but got along forever, all the time. Wonderful. This is wonderful to hear all these stories. Is that it? Are we going to eat? Are these actors that we're joining?
Hi everybody, I'm Joan Meyer, and I was Christy's real estate partner for the last 15 years, a little bit less or so. And I hear you talk about her as a little sister. She was really, my big sister. We were both very independent Capricorns, not used to working with other people, but for some reason our partnership just worked incredibly well. We had each other's backs, we took care of each other. We spoke or texted, I would say almost every day. A lot of it was work, a lot of it was complaining to each other and just being each other's shoulders. A lot of it was discussion about what's going on in the world and how we felt about it. I can't even imagine what she would have to say about the world today, and I miss having her to discuss that. I mean, we thought the same on many, many things. We thought differently on some things. But she was a true partner. She knew the days when I was down and would come to the office and bring me a cookie. Or if I was extra lucky, she could come from Mervin's house straight from him. But she knew a sweet treat could go a long way in bringing someone's day a little bit brighter. So I truly miss her